What's up, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Football. We got a game for you tonight. We're going to get through it. We're going to pound it, and then we're going to watch a game. All right, then we're going to relax. We got lots going on here. We got a little two-game NBA too. We got some some NFL. Lots of stuff going on. I'm trying to type over here in Discord and let the people know it's showtime. So they can get in here and drop their questions because that's what this show is all about. It's dropping your questions and having us answer them no matter what they are. And that way we can all, get a little something out of this. We can all gain some knowledge. And yes, flying armbar. We are going to feel it in our plums later on. I say probably about 20 minutes from now, we'll drop down and give you a little time. So also, guys, just had a viewer tell me the other day that we gave out some good picks, but then he went to go enter them, and the contest had started several minutes ago. And I let him know, buddy, you're probably like watching behind the time because we get out of here well before lock. So that's your own fault. Guys, make sure you're not like on pause. Make sure you're live and watching it live so you can get the best info here before the thing locks. Monday nights are for Squirrel, man. Squirrel, how you doing, brother?
Good. I've made that same mistake where I'm watching our pre-lock show and I pause it for 5 minutes, run downstairs, come back up, and I'm listening to it on regular speed. Like, where's the sense of urgency? Like, it's about to be lock. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm like 5 minutes behind. So yeah, gotta make sure you're and it's okay to like pause it and catch up. You gotta like listen to it on double speed, so that you eventually catch up and you're on the lock at the same time we are. But Monday Night Football, probably not the matchup they were envisioning when they put this one on the board, but Joe Burrow out for the year, so it's unfortunate for Cincinnati. But Jacksonville's pretty much at full strength and home team and heavily favored.
It's amazing what a quarterback will do for you, losing one or gaining one good. So Joe Burrow kind of him being out takes the shine off of the game for sure, because like you said, Jacksonville's at full strength. They're fighting for a number one seed, and Cincinnati would be right there too if not for this Burrow thing. It stinks, man, but it happens. TJ points out we need to drop some likes here. That would really help the show. For future shows, it'll help the show. And get those questions in chat, guys. I'm keeping track of it all. I'm going to answer it all. We want to. I like to hear from you guys, man. I'd rather not just say the same things I've been saying all day long about the game. I'd rather just answer some questions. You know what? Also, there's like a ton of places you can play props at. If you have any over, under, more, less questions on props, get them off in there. We'll answer them. I love those things. Speaking of props, I want to get this one out here too. The props and pick'em package on RG. It's brand new. It's the expert at the RG projections team. Take the premium stats and comb through the market for any inefficiencies on those sites. Through November in NBA, NFL, NHL, they are up 38 units. That's not an exaggeration, and they really do hit these things big time. Using our model, you can easily see which lines are off and where to find them and how likely the prop is to hit. It really works. It really does. I've said it before, the only problem, or the only issue with props is they go by so quick. Once a couple people hammer them, done. So you got to be quick about it. You got to be smart about it, but it's not an exaggeration. This is not. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying his name. We're not Vegas Dave here. How does he do it? And when he's up like 58-0 on the NFL season, no, this is legit, man. Like, it's such a fickle thing. It goes by so quick. But I mean, we had one the other day that was what was it? Malik Beasley over 2.5 3-pointers, and everybody was kind of buzzing about it. And I was like, why not? Let's do it. Boom, easy, quick hundo right there, man. No problem. Squirrel, you're a props guy, ain't you?
Yeah, I play a little bit of props. I prefer that to the to the sides or to the like picking a side and point spread. It tends to be inefficiency that people can put out and create a pretty good data model, and then start spotting those inefficiencies, or just like NBA. A team like changes their rotation a certain way. They're going to play small or play big or whatever. It's a good way to start putting together some money. So I like me some props, especially more on the NBA side.
You're a big NBA guy. Yeah, the NBA stuff, like football is probably a little bit tougher to really get in there and get the inefficiencies. NBA on a nightly basis. Yeah. We're not there yet, but for sure MLB, man, the strikeouts, pitch counts, innings pitch, all that kind of stuff. Oof, man. We own that kind of stuff. All right, guys, like the questions. I'm keeping track of them all. We're going to get to them here. Just one second. I want to ask Squirrel. I looked at the inactive reports. I did not notice anything that stood out to me. Is there anything in the inactives that kind of like caught your eye?
I don't think so. I think the Jacksonville coach's son is active, but probably neither here nor there. Probably not going to play him. So, nothing, no surprises. It was good. Didn't really have any injuries coming into this one. That's always nice. When you come into the day, just kind of start wrapping your head around the game without having to worry about if thens and it's just kind of going to be out. Nothing jumps off the page.
You see here, Carolina guy, my head tucked between my legs. No, it's an expression. It's your tail tucked between your legs when you've been humbled. It's not your head between your legs, brother. You're thinking of something else. All right, we got to. I want you to touch on this real quick, Mr. Saucedo, who's always in here, and he asked some good questions. I would want to know your outtake on this. Are you buying into the fact that the Sims will destroy DFS?
Oh no, I've never been a Sims guy, to be honest. I know we've got to get a Sim product, which is great. And I've used our Sim product, and I think it's a really fast, easy way to get like decent lineups. I've never used Sims before using our Sim product, so I've felt like I've had success in DFS. And like this Sims thing has been around for like a couple of years now. People have been talking about it. I think it's a good way to like get a decent lineup. I don't know why people think it's going to destroy DFS. Like I think like regulatory stuff is a bigger threat to DFS than sim products.
Yeah, we're going to do the fill it in the plums plays shortly, guys. Hang in there for that one. Question for you from outside the show. Username Columbia Blue Squirrel wants to know. Gosh darn it, Houston Texans fan wants to know about C.J. Stroud MVP and the Texans making the playoffs. What do you think about it, man? After another win this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why doesn't Tyreek Hill get more talk for MVP?
Oh yeah, you're right, man.
I mean, he's the player I'd be most frightened to face if I was an NFL team. It's Tyreek Hill. But CJ Stroud is like, he's having a great year. It's, definitely rookie of the year. And it's great. I mean, like we said at the top of the show, it's amazing what a quarterback will do when you lose a good one or find a good one, right? And it's like pretty apparent pretty early that he was a good one. Hopefully, some good years ahead for Houston Texas fans, hopefully. MVP this year, I don't know. I'm actually like, that's the one thing we're not allowed to bet in Virginia, so we can't bet like player awards, which is kind of
weird.
random.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. I think it's like that and like draft stuff. We can't bet on that. But so I don't look as much at futures as other people do. But yeah, Tyreek Hill is the one that stands out to me. Like, why does nobody talk about him for MVP? But CJ Stroud definitely in the conversation in terms of who's actually going to win it.
Yeah, I would say also, as far as the Texans are concerned, really, really, really tough beat yesterday, man. Losing Tank Dell, one of my favorite players, lost him for the year. He's done. That's going to hurt. So we'll see how they bounce back from there. Let's get to a few questions here as far as the game is related. Brian Marshall in DK GPPs. D'Ernest Johnson versus ETN. I mean, I guess for the salary, that's kind of a question you have to ask yourself tonight, right?
Yeah, I don't mind the idea of playing some D'Ernest Johnson. Obviously, on our Monday nights, I've had some success playing backup running backs. I think D'Ernest Johnson's a good one. Like, he is actually a guy that was in Cleveland for years. There's always a question of like, why does he not get more run? Like, whenever he like gets in the game, he does really well. And it just felt like he hasn't had the opportunity. But he's put up a couple of good games, last couple of games, like 4,200. So I would go there. I mean, this might be a game where Dearness Johnson can get there a couple of different ways. Just breaking off a long run. It could be Etienne that breaks off a long run, then Dearness comes in and he's pounds it in from the goal line. Injury is always in play as well, and it could be if this is a blowout, like maybe he's getting the fourth quarter. So I like Dearness Johnson. Like that's the way. I mean, you're playing for like a solo, first place playing Dearness Johnson. But I think he's a good backup running back.
Yeah. Orlando, this show is going to help you with your game. If you have any questions, fire them off. We're going to answer them, Orlando. That's what we're here to do. Now, we're not going to hand build, lineups here. We're not going to do all that jazz. But if you have questions, we'll answer them, whatever they pertain to, especially if they pertain to the game. But we're not going to pacify you, man. We're not going to get the bottle and warm it up and get the Similac and, rock you to sleep here. We're going to answer questions. We got another one for you. Eric Johnson, he wants to know thoughts on the build tonight, 4-2 Cincinnati. Going to be different? Any merit to that build? 4-2 Cincinnati. I mean, I don't know. It can go any way you want. I could see a 5-1 Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. I never break my lineups down by like how many players, but from each thing I tend to build like player groups. So we put those in the expert survey that if I'm playing like a Jake Browning captain, right? I want like 2 receivers from Cincinnati. And that tends to like take care of the players on different sides. I think there's an argument to be playing Cincinnati guys that they can actually get there, especially on DraftKings with a full point per reception. Like sometimes the scores like kind of pile up as teams are trying to come back in garbage time. And if Jacksonville is up big, like you can see these Cincinnati receivers start to get some receptions. And then, before you know it, if it's one Jacksonville player that's gotten in the end zone a couple of times, that's the only guy from Jacksonville you need, or maybe you need him and Trevor Lawrence, and then the rest is all Cincinnati guys. So I think it's totally fine to have more Cincinnati guys than Jacksonville guys. And that doesn't that can even win in a scenario where Jacksonville wins the game.
Yeah. Okay. So let's answer this quartet of questions. We'll just knock it out all 4 at one time here, because Carolina guys asking, and there's a lot of guys in the chat who just play FanDuel. So let's talk about FanDuel real quick. Talk to me about single entry, large field, MVP, and flex. Those 4 things on FanDuel. What stands out to you over there?
So it's a little bit tough to get away from the highest score in the MVP. But what I don't mind doing is actually, I feel like this year FanDuel's been a little bit better about their pricing, because it's only a half point per reception, but they're actually making it so the receivers are a little bit more affordable. So I don't mind going with like a Calvin Ridley or Evan Ingram in the MVP spot, and because it might not be that high scoring of a game. So if let's say that like one of those guys gets 2 touchdowns, then they're maybe outscoring Trevor Lawrence. Like if you're playing like the large field contest, like I don't mind the idea of putting a receiver in where, especially one of the Jacksonville receivers. But whereas in the years past, I maybe would have said, it's got to be a quarterback or a running back. Like this year, seems like they're making the receivers a little bit more affordable. So that's what I would go for, FanDuel large field MVP spot. Or, you can always take one of the quarterbacks and try to get a little bit different. And if you're feeling like Cincinnati can win this game, like Jake Browning's probably not going to have that much ownership in the MVP spot if you want to pair him with a couple of Cincinnati receivers.
Eric Johnson, our buddy, Lip says, thoughts on Josh Peterson as a captain tonight?
Yeah, you never know, right? Like maybe the coach is going to try to get him that touchdown. That's a million acre winner, That's but I would probably not do that with any money that you need, to have tomorrow. So
yeah, good point. Question for you, DK GPP. I'm running 5 Jacksonville onslaught. Ridley and Browning or Kirk and Chase? Who?
I'd probably go with the Chase one, Kirk and Chase. Was it Ridley and Browning or Kirk and Chase? Yeah, I'd probably go Kirk and Chase. Like if you've got a bunch of Jacksonville guys, I don't mind the idea of having Jamar Chase as your only Bengal on there.
Yeah, I Another big popular prop bet floating around the RG circles tonight is T. Higgins over 3.5 receptions. That's a big one for the boys. So some people out there think T. Higgins might have a decent game. So maybe Ridley, Browning. I don't know. Stay away from. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I do know this, Squirrel. I do know that I am severely fading in a major way Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk in season long. So
Okay.
I'm fully expect one of them to absolutely go ham here because I need them both to busto. But I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, man. I'm on live support over there, brother. I'm on live support. You play any season long leagues, Squirrel?
I'm in a couple. So that's actually how I got my initial DFS bankroll, was playing like paid season long leagues against people I didn't know. Like $250 a pop. I was up to like 70 of them. But now it's down to like the 3 leagues with people I know. So and no big money leagues or anything like that.
Here's one for you. We typically kind of cover this generally, but I'll let you cover it again. Thoughts on kicker in captain spot?
I mean, it's fine. Like, they're going to get points. I don't love it. Like, I like it if you're doing like 150 lineups. Like, I'll have a handful that maybe have kicker captains. I think this is actually an okay game to go with kicker captain because it might be a little bit lower scoring. So maybe maybe it ends up being a game of field goals. I think it's reasonable. Like, I think it's reasonable for the larger field contests. I don't usually do it for like single entry or smaller field or like qualifiers or anything like that.
Yeah. Question: why is Ingram the best captain tonight, or am I wrong? If I am wrong, who is the best captain tonight? I'm a big fan of Evan Ingram tonight. Now, is he the best captain? I'll tell you that in about 3.5 hours. I don't know how that's going to play out, but in a vacuum, he seems okay. He's not the most consistent guy. This could be his breakout game tonight. I don't mind Ingram. What's your thoughts on Ingram being captain? Is that the best captain, Squirrel?
He's somebody I don't mind. Cincinnati's been giving up some points to tight ends, so I don't mind Ingram in the captain spot. I think it's like a plummish feeling.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it! Spoilers, and not to mention, I was feeling a little Ingram tonight, so now I might have to readjust you. All right. Chase is too cheap. Thoughts on him and captain? Jamar Chase is too cheap. Thoughts on him and captain? What do you make of the how much do you factor in the downgrade at quarterback?
I mean, I think Jamar Chase is maybe the one receiver from the Bengals that like the quarterback matters the least, if that makes sense. So like I said, I don't mind going with Jamar Chase over Jake Browning. I can see like Chase getting, having a big game no matter who his quarterback is. Whereas like the other guys like T. Higgins, the tight ends like Tyler Boyd, I'm not as high on those guys tonight, just because like I think that Jake Browning, like maybe they do need a quarterback that can kind of get them the ball in a space to get them open. So I like Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Steve Jones wants to know, anyone care that, or he wants to comment, and then we'll answer it for him. Anyone care that Drew Sample and Browning were tied in quarterback connection at Washington in college? Yeah, that's true. And there might be some chemistry there. Hey, look, there's definitely chemistry between quarterbacks and run and wide receivers / tight ends, whoever that may be. It definitely jumps off the screen sometimes, and they don't even have to be from college, but these guys do know each other. So I absolutely think that's a thing, and that should be something that you could factor into a showdown, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we're all, there's some guessing here involved, right? We can't predict the future, so I think that's as good a reason as any to like give him a little bump up on the Cincinnati tight end. So.
Yeah, we're on a showdown, man. Anything can happen. We've always say it. So if you have something, any narrative of merit, absolutely go for it. That could be the thing that wins it all for you. All right. Let's keep rolling with some questions. We got about 15 minutes before lock. I'll come answer some more questions, and then we'll do the plum play tonight. Then we'll answer the speed round of questions to end this thing. Rucan Verde comes in with his question. Good questions always from them. Do we think this game will be competitive enough to have a 3-3 build with the skill players? I'll let Squirrel answer that, and I'll throw my 2 cents in first. Dude, I do not subscribe to NFL guys being limited in minutes or possessions because of a blowout. It's happened so rarely. Even yesterday, Washington completely dismantled by Miami. Achane was still out there getting a touchdown in the last minute 30 of the game. Like, Tua didn't come out of a 40 to 14 game until like the very last possession. I don't buy into like the competitive. They're going to go out there and they're going to try to pound this team until they absolutely can't no more. And by then, you would have gotten all the points you needed from those particular guys anyway. So, what do you think about if a game? Will this game be competitive enough to support a 3-3 build?
Yeah, well, and I think like the build doesn't necessarily like imply how competitive the game is, right? Like I said, like if if Jacksonville is up big early, then maybe the Cincinnati guys are getting some receptions that they wouldn't normally be getting, right? And like maybe that's opening the game up a little bit more. So it doesn't necessarily mean that like, oh, it's 3-3 build means it has to come down to like the last play of the fourth quarter. And like you said, with the blowout stuff, like yeah, I never really think about that. Like the last thing I'm worried about is my players scoring so many points that they come out of the game a little bit early. And like you rarely see that. I can recall like one game. I think it was like a Dallas game to Dallas Giants, where it was like the entire fourth quarter was handed over to the backups. Maybe the guys would come out of the game first. Maybe the running backs. Maybe you're seeing the backup get an extra series or something like that. You're generally not seeing like the whole offense come out of the game in mass. Unless they're up like 42 to nothing or something. In which case your team's got 42 points. So great.
Yeah. Listen, guys, we got 12 minutes left. We got questions. I got them. We're going to answer them. We're going to answer them after we do, because Butthole Jenkins is here now. I see that name. I see him talking about plums. He's talking about farmers markets plums. Fill it in the plums. I like that. Farmers markets are good. They got the best plums. So we're going to do the plums play tonight right now. So, Squirrel, take it away.
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier, and I saw the expert survey, and I was filling it out after you, and I thought, I'm going to end up taking this plums play. But yeah, Evan Ingram, because I do think the Cincinnati gives up a lot of points to the tight ends. I think this is a game where I think Jacksonville's going to have success here. So like the running back, like Etienne, but in terms of the receivers, I think Evan Ingram is going to go a little bit underowned. Don't even mind Evan Ingram in the captain spot, and even in like large field MVP spot on FanDuel.
Yeah, Evan Ingram was definitely a guy I was eyeballing in the plums, but you know what? We don't double up on the plums here. We spread them out. We spread our plums nice and wide for you guys. So he's got Ingram. I'm gonna go the other side of the game, the other team over there. And I'll take a shot on T. Higgins. I don't know. Browning's going to be in there at quarterback. I know for sure when Joe Burrow's in there, I know Jamar Chase is his guy. College buddies, won a national championship. That's his guy. I don't know who Browning's guy is really. I haven't had enough of a sample set. Maybe it's T. Higgins. Maybe these guys hang out, in the offseason or something. I have no idea. So I'm going to take a shot on T. Higgins because he is a talented wide receiver. Hasn't lived up. He's been chasing a contract this year. Hasn't lived up to it. It's about time he does. I'll take T. Higgins. I feel some T. Higgins tonight as Jamar Chase draws all the coverage to him. So we got that. We got Evan Ingram. We got T. Higgins. I like Ingram more than Higgins, but Squirrel took it from me. That's fine though. As long as we hit, we hit. That's the part of the show. Let's answer some more questions. We got a lot of them here, and we got about 10 minutes left. GPP thoughts on Drew Sample or any other of the sub 3K guys?
So who was the one? It was Sample was the one that's went to Washington, right? So sub 3K guys, it's all a crapshoot. Josh Peterson's, coach's son, I think it's his first active game. Yeah, I'd probably, if I had to pick any of them, sub 3K, probably going Drew Sample.
I'm looking at sub 3K now. It is slim pickings down there. Unfortunately, Irv Smith hasn't panned out. I didn't think he would be this big of a bust. If you're down here, I think you can almost like bank on 0 points, like it's not good. So if I'm going and I'm willing to take a 0 here, I'll just chase Travion Williams for the cheapest price on the board almost, and maybe I'll get lucky and he'll somehow Mixon will get him down to the 1 and get out of breath, and Travion will come in and finish. I don't know. I'd take that shot if going that low, because nobody else really looks to me like they're guaranteed of scoring anything. So we'll go that route. All right. Would you group out or apply a negative boost to Kirk when Ridley is in the same lineup? That's a good question. It's a lineup HQ type question.
I think you can do it. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't like group it out. Like if you're doing a bunch of lineups, I wouldn't like group it out necessarily. It's just unlikely to hit. So maybe you do want to group it out, I guess. I wouldn't go like a third Jacksonville wide receiver. Like I wouldn't put 3 Jacksonville wide receivers in the same lineup, and I would include Evan Ingram in that group of receivers without having like Trevor Lawrence as captain. So that's like a rule I would set, is like no lineups where you've got Calvin Ridley as the captain, and then Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk in there. Like then Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be the captain.
I think it's a good question. It's very valid, and just right offhand, I can't really think of games where Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley both went off in the same game. Seems like it's either one or the other, if it's either one of them. So I don't mind dropping a rule like that. There's probably going to be the showdown, so many lineups. There's probably going to be plenty of Kirk and Ridley lineups in there. Yeah, why not just make a rule and try to be a little bit different? So I don't mind that. Any backup quarterbacks tonight? Lawrence might not play the second half. I think we've addressed the blowout. Lawrence will be in there at some point in the second half, barring an injury.
Yeah, and there's like you'd be surprised when you look at the CSVs. I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but like when you play a backup quarterback, you got to beat all the other lineups that are playing backup quarterbacks, and you better hope that the first quarterback goes out early enough to get you some points from the backup. And I've even seen where the starting quarterback does get injured in the third quarter, and the team's just running the ball. So the backup's in there, but like the backup quarterback's not getting any points. So.
We got about 6 minutes left. Some more questions here coming in. Ridley or Lawrence? Favorite DraftKings single entry? Ridley or Lawrence?
I tried Kaplen Ridley.
Okay. Zay Jones or the Jags defense?
Zay Jones. We could see like really high ownership on the Jags defense tonight. So because it's projecting really well. I don't know if I like it as a play as much as it's going to be played. So I'd go with Zay Jones there.
Yeah, the Jags D is going to be pretty heavily owned. Thoughts on fading ETN? This man is only making 5 lineups. He wants to fade ETN tonight.
You can fade anybody. I'm just not sure that I would fade Etienne. I mean, it's a game where I think Jacksonville is going to be up big and could be running the ball. So I would be more likely to like more in favor of taking a Jacksonville receiver and fade one of the Jacksonville receivers than fade Ridley.
Chris Alexander says Higgins or Mixon in a cash game on DK. So just got to beat half the field or one other guy, Higgins or Mixon. I think you got to go running back there, but I'll let Squirrel have a shot at it.
No, I'd go with the running back there.
Yeah, T. Higgins is not very consistent with his. I mean, he could. I think maybe he has an explosive. He's my plums play, but this is cash. It's just so much. It's so much different. I've been trying to play a little bit of cash the last month or so, not showdown, but a main slates. It's just so like you just absorb the chalk. It's so much chalk, man. It's guys are 90+%, and that's great. You need to go with that chalk. So absorb that mixing in cash. Let's see, we got a few more here in chat. Question, does Tanner Hudson potentially lose targets with the Bengals getting healthier at wide receiver?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think so. I mean, he's the tight end that's been coming on. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think he's been getting like enough targets to really like start losing a ton of them. Yeah. So, Like I think he's gonna probably get his regular share. That's not a huge concern for me.
Yeah, it's just I mean, we don't know what their game plan is going into this thing. Do they want to target the tight end? Do they have, are they game planning for the tight end right now? But I'm with, and then we got a new quarterback here. How does the quarterback feel about him? Is that his best friend? Is it not T. Higgins? Is this his best friend? I don't know, man. So yeah, I don't think I would worry about that. About 3 minutes left. Let's keep on real quick here. FanDuel small field. Am I crazy for leaving 2,000 on the table in a small field on FanDuel?
No, I think you're okay. I mean, I think look at the players that are 2,000 apart. Like, there's not necessarily that huge of a difference for them in one game. Yeah, I think it's okay.
Another one from Chad. Higgins or Ridley single entry captain?
I'd probably go Ridley.
All right, we got 3 minutes. I'm going to do about 1 minute worth of rapid fire for you, Squirrel. How's that feel for you? All right, guys, sure. Are you ready? All right, let's go with rushing yards, Jake Browning or Trevor Lawrence. Who has more rushing yards tonight if you're playing a prop site?
I'm going to go with Jake Browning because I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be kneeling down a couple times at the end of the game.
That's just good. I think it's a very valid thing right there. I've seen guys lose final seats on kneel downs. It's terrible. Passing attempts, Lawrence or Browning?
I actually do think like Cincinnati's going to throw this game, even though I don't know if they're necessarily going to have that much success. Go with Browning.
Receptions, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is minus 1.5 receptions.
I'd still probably take the Jamar Chase minus 1.5.
I think I agree with that one. Receiving yards, T. Higgins or Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's plus 21.
So wait, who was it? Joe Mixon plus 21.
It's receiving yards. So Mixon out of the backfield receiving. T. Higgins receiving, but Mixon gets the 21-yard head start. We don't know. Browning could be checked down Charlie here, man. You never know. And then T. Higgins could potentially get shut out any game. He's like I don't know. I might just take that 21 and hope that holds up.
I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think I'd go with Joe Mixon. I think it's a game. Yeah, where I think Cincinnati's going to be behind, and maybe Browning is checking it down a little bit more. So yeah, I'd go with Mixon in the 21. Yeah,
all right, guys, we got a minute left, so we're going to jump out of here. We appreciate you tuning in. Love the questions tonight. Very active. Hopefully, you guys can all come back on Thursday for me and Kyle's show and ask some more questions. Until then, we're going to get out of here. But that was Squirrel. I was your host, Head Chopper. Good luck in all those GPPs. We'll be back on Thursday. For now, we are out of here.